50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filter today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Again, we've come out with our own proprietary, state-of-the-art, produced in one of the best laboratories in the country, colloidal silver. It's $19, very fairly priced, helps fund the operation. But I'm not here to pitch a bunch of stuff today. We're getting into a lot of key information. And it's Silver Bullet colloidal silver, 30 parts per million. And again, we just put warnings on the bottle and stuff, even if a group doesn't think that's necessary, just to be totally covered, because nothing's perfect. But I know it's better than the kidney failure people are getting with these new antibiotics. I mean, my uncle, trying to keep him alive, they put him on antibiotics that shut his kidneys off. Total kidney failure. With the antibiotics the hospital put him on. And the stuff they put my dad on to get rid of his pneumonia, and I told my dad, take the silver, take the silver. He's now doing it, and it's working. They said, we call these kidney tamers. And I know people that have been on multiple regimens, and it's not helping them. But you've agreed to tell your FDA story because you were explaining. I was like, during the break, I said, look, I go into CVS, and they've got silver they're selling now for the mouth and topical and Band-Aids. And I said, they didn't used to have that. What happened? And you said, well, no. The FDA tried to shut it down in 2002. I remember the push. Tried to intimidate people because Big Pharma openly said, do this. They failed. Because I've been in hospitals now, they're bringing the colloidal silver out. They don't call it that. They call it, silver emulsions and silver IVs. So that's good news that we're winning the fight on the silver front because we're running out of antibiotics. And I'm not saying antibiotics were always bad. They're obviously overused. Recap what you told me.
Well, what I was telling you is I was one of the biggest suppliers of colloidal silver back in the early, 2000, 1999, all the way up to 2002, whenever they did do that push. And my office actually got raided by the FDA. And I was told that one of the reasons they came in and raided me was because of I was selling colloidal silver. Now, I mean, we didn't really have, we didn't have any claims saying this cures this cures you this, don't use this instead of an antibiotic or anything, but they just wanted to take away everybody out there. There's a lot of information. Silver works on a lot of other things. I mean, eye infections, I mean, there's a whole list of things silver's been tested against. So I didn't even sell silver again. I had to take it down, and then I didn't even pop it back up until years later. And still they come in the FDA still comes in my office probably once or twice a year trying to harass me about different things. And now what I do is I just, at first I used to be scared about it, but now I've learned how to deal with the FDA, and we just immediately go get video cameras. I take them back and sit them in a room back in the back, let them know they're being filmed, let them know they're taped, and then just kind of, ask them a bunch of questions. Why are you here? What are we doing wrong? State for the camera, this, that. And usually they get flustered because they send not a high-level FDA personnel out there. Maybe they'll send two. And they're not as apt to, be so aggressive with me anymore since I kind of take the first.
Now they're sending them out in uniforms,
yes,
though, and sometimes people with guns.
Yes.
That's under Obama. So they're really mad. Folks are learning about vitamin C, colloidal silver, herbs, organics. They're trying to shut down organic farms. Look at what they've done out in California, harassing organic co-ops. I mean, you'd think this stuff was PCP.
There's a naval program right now where they actually train naval officers in FDA, and the naval officers are now going out to inspect facilities and issue...
The military.
Military, yes.
Totally illegal, posse comitatus.
Yes, that's what's happening right now.
Because we're the enemy.
Yeah, we're the enemy. But think about this. I mean, how many times have we talked about all the toxins in the food and the beverages and all that stuff? Well, they know that the body has a higher defense mechanism with the enzymes that we naturally secrete and the acid in the stomach to try to buffer some of these chemicals out. But they also know that the fastest way to get something into the body and the bloodstream is through you breathing, because you take 35,000 breaths every single day, and the oxygen content on the earth is declining and declining and declining, and they're doing that on purpose through geoengineering, is ripping holes in the ozone layer. The ozone is just O3. It's completely natural and safe.
In the 60s, they detonated the Pentagon over 100 high-altitude nukes. Quote, this is even in mainline documentaries like Trinity, that's voiced over and hosted by William Shatner, trying to ignite the atmosphere or blow holes in it. Yeah. That's a great idea. Let's get rid of the atmosphere.
It's not the CFCs that are the fluorocarbons that are destroying the ozone layer. It's the geoengineering, and it's the...
Why do they want to do it?
Particles. Well, the weather modification's been started around World War II, so they're doing it for multiple reasons. They're doing it for weather modification, number one, so they can control droughts. They have the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which they hedge bets on what's going to be produced, what's not going to be produced as far as derivatives are concerned. So that's another money-making scheme, which they use geoengineering for. Population control is the other one, because the more people that are sick, they know these things are going to go straight into the bloodstream. They know they know the pharmaceuticals are going to be able to sell you more asthma, allergy medications. They know it's going to cause psychotic behavior, depression, anxiety, stress. They can sell you more psychotropic drugs. They know you're going to have more problems, so it's another way to control the population and bring money into the pharmaceutical conglomerate. And then they want this to work into the Agenda 21 situation, because they want to be able to claim this global warming, which they've been working so hard to do for all these years, even though it's backfiring on them. I mean, they want to, and they're even using these polar vortex scenarios and everything, and they're using these ice nucleations and these chemtrails right now where they can actually create snow at 60 degrees. That's why you're seeing 80-degree weather, and then 2 days, like in Atlanta, it was 80 degrees, and 2 days later it's snowing, because they can use these ice nucleation techniques in the
And by the way, in the United Arab Emirates and all over, they admit they've got all this. They're publicly doing it.
Right.
Here they go, oh, nothing's going on.
Yeah, here's another thing that's happening. I mean, all the pilots and I have so many people that work for the airline, stewardesses and stuff like that are calling my office all the time, and they're chronically sick. As a matter of fact, there's one airline that contacted me that wanted me to help their employees because their insurance.
It's a major airline.
It's a major airline. They
probably the biggest.
They're probably one of the biggest ones. And their liability, their medical insurance expenses were in 2 years went from like 200 and something million all the way up to 800 million because all the airline personnel are getting sick. Well, we found out that, you know, what happens when you're flying, and even people that are frequent flyers are having the same problems, respiratory illnesses and stuff, because 50% of that air that they take in, that they put inside the cabin, comes from outside air. So if you're taking in all the aluminum particles, and they're actually found phthalates, which are endocrine disruptors too in chemtrails right now, and the strontium and the barium and all these different disruptors, guess what? If you fly, you're breathing that stuff in, those aluminum nanoparticles, as you fly. And all the staff and the airline pilots now are coming down ill, and they're coming down with psychological disorders.
And by the way, this isn't your opinion.
No.
Respiratory deaths from number 8 to number 3rd cause of death. Cancers in children are up 10,000%. People can pull this up. Diabetes, 3,000%, type 2. Suddenly the hospitals are full of people that, quote, get sick, children, and then get type 1. And my dad was saying it's really a viral pancreatitis that a lot of times the pancreas comes back. But Dell Children's Center, when my buddy's daughter got sick, 3 years old, took her in, it was full. The nurse said, we've never been this full. They're all coming down with type 1. And they go, it's genetic, but the virus triggers it. What's going on there? Because no one's making an issue about diabetes being connected to viruses attacking the pancreas. And they don't even want you to know that it usually comes back, my dad was saying. He was showing me medical literature online. This has been well known for 50 years. They just go, no, go on the insulin now, which then shuts down the pancreas. It's diabolical. But the doctors just do it.
They just do it. It's like a long time ago, in order to diagnose somebody with high cholesterol, you had to take a blood reading 1 month, take one the next month, take one the next month, and average them all together over a 3-month period of time. And then you would come up with a cholesterol level, which normal cholesterol used to be 200 plus your age could be a normal cholesterol level. But now they keeps lowering the level of cholesterol, and they put you on cholesterol medications after one blood reading of high cholesterol. But to get to your point, yeah, it's because none of the doctors address the root cause of the problem, and they don't look in the right areas because all the pharmaceutical companies come in there and say, okay, if you have this number on your blood work, prescribe this. If you have this, prescribe this. So, but what we have is just disease. We have a lowered immune system in everybody, because if you have a strong immune system and your pH levels in your body are correct, disease can't manifest in your system. You know, your body's own immune system will attack those viruses, will attack that extra bacteria and all that. But when you get overloaded with all those bacteria, the fungus, which is another big, huge problem right now, everybody has yeast and fungus and bacteria and microbes in their system that needs to be addressed. And it goes back to the old saying, you know, you need to detoxify your body on a regular basis.
That's right. Let me expand on this. My grandmother, again, who's in pretty good health for 89 years old, still cognitively there, sharp, you name it. My only grandparent that's alive. She went into her doctor at the hospital. She goes to see one that's, you know, at a hospital. And he sends her over for test. And she goes, oh, I forgot and ate sugar today. I can't do the diabetes test. And she's never had diabetes, has good, you know, blood levels. The test comes out and shows high sugar, even though she wasn't supposed to have had any sugar when she took the sugar. You know, that test, I forget the name of it. My dad described it all to me. He got real mad about it. He even wrote an article for the website about it. And he went in and found out about it. And they gave her a diabetes medication that day, super high-powered pill, where it put her almost into a coma for like a day, because it knocked her blood sugar down to absolutely nothing. And she couldn't even, you know, basically talk. My dad reverse engineered the whole deal and went and looked at the law, the regulations, everything, and said, you're not supposed to do that until you've done other tests multiple times to put someone on diabetes medication, because it can shut their pancreas down. And he went and showed them the literature. You're supposed to do this test where they slice up the red blood cells for a month. You know, they take a blood draw. It'll have a month of blood cells in it. That's how long a blood cell lasts before it's cut into platelets. They cut them up, and then they get the average of it. He told me the name of the test. He wrote an article about it again for Infowars.com for folks that want technicals. I forget the exact name of it, but the point is that he went and had that done, and she had actually low blood sugar. And he